What up, gang? Sorry I'm late, bro. Sorry I'm late. Holy crap. Alrighty, gang. Let's see. Let's see what the market gives us today. Swerve in your Whoa. So we're having some parabolic movement here. Price is bouncing back and forth. We dumped 50 pips, retraced 50 pips, and now have retraced again. And it's all doing this within a few minutes. Literally one 5-minute candle ruined this sell here. The next 5-minute candle came down, retesting the entry. Just for price to start consolidating and eating shit here. So for continuation up, man, I would like to see some sort of closures above here. Price start to push above this level and re-break the daily highs, and then we can start pushing into some of this range here. There's 40 pips here to the next high. See if we can get a closure above and then like a break and retest. Unless it just drives. Let's wait for a clear indication of direction. Man, that looks clean. What's up, Jay? How are you, bro? I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing well. I took a sell an hour ago at 2695. So, if I'm being quite honest with you, I was not expecting, if you took a sell here, right, as this movement was coming down, that makes total sense. But the second this happened, that invalidated the sells completely. And the fact that we came to the highs, came all the way back down, rejected the lows, and came back up, that tells me that sells to come down are probably not as likely. So we just had a 5-minute closure above. I'm gonna have a buy stop on the break of the highs here. This move up and down is caused by massive orders entering the market. massive volume entering the market, right? For price to bounce 50 pips one way and then bounce 50 pips the other way, there has to be a shit ton, oh, that wicked me in, of volume in the market. Um, it's tough to say, bro, if we're being honest, because oh,
What's good, guys?
how are you, bro?
Good, I'm good.
Your background is a little loud. And this kind of was one pip away from break even here.
You in a trade?
Yeah, in a buy. I was
Same as well.
I was one pip away from break even.
Same. I saw like 9 pips.
Yeah, I saw 9 pips, but it only showed profit for 4, which is weird. Let's see if we can get
Yeah,
this
for
push
me,
up.
the spreads is kind of messing me up right now.
Yeah, futures spreads are kind of bouncing. The way futures has smaller spreads, but at the same time, there's less volume than gold, so sometimes it's the same. There's less volume than XAU. Like you might get a 10 pip push on XAU, and it's like an 8 pip push on futures. So I'll close for exactly 8 pips, and you'll close for exactly 8 pips because of spreads. So sometimes those are minor little differences. Once we re-break this high, that's where I'm going break even. Even if it's only like 5 pips.
Close for 12.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the I'm going break even here.
We got a lot of volume tonight.
Yeah, that was 12 pips there. 11 pips. But yeah, it looks like it's popping. Let's hope it pops up and I can close for the full 10. It stopped me out break even. Oh no, it didn't. It was close. If it does stop me out break even, that looks like it's going to start pulling back here.
Yeah, I'm waiting on this 15.
Flip, 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 flip. Flip, 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 flip. This is where it needs to flip from if it's gonna re-break the high. Nice. See, I would have been up like 11 pips on this trade, but it's not showing me the profit. It's not showing me the full 11 pips.
Yeah, I got in a little bit better than you did because it retraced a little bit. And then once it hit my 10 pips, I closed half and moved stop loss to break even on the other, and then I just closed the other one as well because it didn't pop, and I was fine with that. And gave me 19.9 pips.
Like I should be up 7 pips here, and I'm only up 3.
You just have bigger your spreads on futures, no?
It's bouncing back and forth right now between like 1 and 3. Look at this push. See, right now this should
it
be
looks like it wants to pop, yeah.
this should be like a 9 pips in profit, but it's only giving me 5. So like it's giving me like 4 pips of spread right now to what the profit is saying and what the candles are saying. Yeah, it's a sketchy moment to be in the markets. If it does hit my break even, it might slip me. Yeah. It slipped me 2 pips. I was thinking of a pineapple, but I wanted it down here. Not here. Good risk management, solid. Bro, what you think? You think I'm trading on the hourly time frame? Nah, brother, I'm Scalpy the scalper. We already hit my target, my level of interest here. This was my target. That's where I was scalping to. If price wants to reverse, it very well can, and that's something we could easily be looking at. That could have been a good sell as well. See, we're back in range. We have a 15-minute closure coming in 2 minutes. See, I would be inclined to take a sell stop on the rebreak of the low here. As we're breaking down into range, we're retapping this area right here. So if we do rebreak the low, that would be a nice sell here to come down. But the 15-minute is closing in 2 minutes. So I would like to wait. Market, that beard balm is good. I have a version of that. But it makes my beard feel weird, bro, and sticky. I don't know. I don't have a thick enough beard to be using any balm. I gotta use my I gotta reapply my chemical so I can grow my beard. I didn't have a beard before. I had nothing. I think I have a picture here of when I didn't have a beard and then how I grew it. Yeah, minoxidil, that's what I used. So if you see here, you could see on the top, I had like a month of growth and it's all patchy. And here at the bottom, it's the exact same month of growth and 90% of the patches were filled. And then I went from that, and then this is what my beard looks like when it's lined up. So I went from having nothing. I went from having fucking scrubble like that. So the 15-minute just closed. It closed bullish. We're coming down to create a bottom wick first. And it flipped bullish. What did this 5-minute do? This 5-minute closed, but we're still above these levels here. So sells not quite yet. I mean, on the 1-minute sells look clean, right? On the rebreak of this low to come back down. We're starting to get the scoop here. We rejected the daily high. We rejected an hourly high. These hourly levels here plummet us down to down here. That sell is something I would have taken if I wasn't in the buys. Yeah, I bought minoxidil and I started putting it on my cheeks, and I would rub it in, and I would put it. The dose for your hair is one milligram a day or something like that, or 1 milliliter a day, or whatever it is. Um, but I only put a couple drops, and I was putting a couple drops. But I just bought some more because I haven't used it in a couple years, and I think that's why my beard hasn't grown, because my beard doesn't grow naturally. So it doesn't get thicker naturally. I need to keep using beard products to maintain a healthy beard. If this 15 would have gave me a top wick, right, and then flipped bearish, I would have taken those sells. But it didn't give me a top wick. Thames bougie. This looks so clean. Biden had his farewell speech today, I guess. I just seen it on Twitter. Yeah. Sometimes vegetables need to get steamed. You know how they accidentally sent an extra 6 billion to Ukraine? It would have taken only 5 billion to rebuild Maui after the fires. We just keep sending money. Accidentally. Oh man, that hurts my brain, man. That hurts my brain. How do you accidentally send 6 billion? How is that a miscalculation? It's like is if I normally enter 4 contracts and I accidentally enter 40. Like, buddy, did you not notice when you were in drawdown 4 pips and it was $1,000? 100 pips, bro. Options. I'm telling you, bro. The goal that you have, you might as well multiply it by 10. You're shooting yourself short, my brother. 100 pips, dude. So if this flips bullish, that could be a good buy. Yeah, and this would have been another one. If I would have taken a rebreak of the low here, after the second rebreak and failed drive, I would have went break even here, and it would have taken me out. The same thing that happened here. We took the break of the high, and then price tried to drive again, and it failed, so I went break even. Or we took a break of the high, price tried to drive again, failed, so I went break even. So the same thing would have happened here. We took the rebreak of the low, price tried to drive again, so I went break even, and it failed to drive. This is where the 15-minute would be flipping. Why is this 5-minute wick so ugly, man? What's it look like on XAU? Did I miss this trade? Yeah, that's 16 pips for the wick fill. I might have missed the entry on the buy stop. I think I did. Yeah, Jay, if you're gonna be scalping and swing trading, bro, I need multiple accounts to do that. I can't have a swing open on one account. Like what I saw, what did Turpy send today, or was it Daniel, where he had the sells that Wix was taking down here the other day, and he was adding pineapples, but then he had some like buys that happened over here, so he took some entries over here and was like scalping over here as this trade's in drawdown, and then finally he gets out in profit in this trade after scalping, and the trade's just running on the screen while he's taking other trades. That's tough. That's tough to manage. You need some good computer skills to do that. You guys are savages how you do that. I was just watching a video that my friend sent me of a house in Miami, and the house in Miami, beautiful. Everything is beautiful, and he's like, "What do you notice about this picture?" And I look, and the air conditioner is from like 2005. So you just renovated an entire house. You spent $30,000 in renovations, but you want to be a cheapskate and not spend the extra 6 grand on a new AC. So now the owner moves in. 4 months in, the air conditioner breaks, and now they have to have a new construction kind of job after a newly renovated house that they just got from a builder. That's the kind of scam that they run here in the States with buildings when you're building a house. Wild shit, bro. You get this add-on, then you tell the builder, no, I want to save a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, and then the builder would be like, yeah, just the guts on the inside, don't change them. Just give it a new casing. Don't change none of the guts. Give it a new little casing to make it look better and call it a day. It looks good from the outside, but it's shit from the inside. So, the 15-minute flip was a good entry. The 15-minute flip gave us here 11 pips. These are just tight ranges. I want to wait for a decent breakout, a rebreak of the daily high, and then a breakout into the next possible range. Because right now we're just eating shit. It's just charging options.
I don't know if anyone noticed, but to me, gold been kind of like pushing kind of weird lately for the past couple of days.
Yep.
Normally, like, we would be pushing like 400 pips. And I would like trickle and we push like around like 12 or 11 late pushes lately.
Yeah, the looks like the good times are starting to come to an end. So gold
Yeah.
hits Asian session hits this sweet spot, right? Where at 7 to 9 o'clock the volume just starts fucking pouring in. And it's beautiful volume, bro. And it's just beautiful volume. And now it's been slowing down a little bit. But it's straight. It's not bad. I had an opportunity here. If the wick would have pushed a little bit more, that like if the spreads wouldn't have been an issue here, I would have saw 10 pips already. And I would have had a W.
All different market conditions.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Look, what I can say is that going in like last year prepare me for this year, you know, like getting the experience because different market conditions, like when you're not, like you haven't had the experience before, like it can really mess you up.
Yeah, it's why like Don, when he says that you really want to know, like for example, when he says when the market is ranging, consolidating, or sorry, when it's ranging, pulling back, or driving, and there's specific setups that you take when it's driving. There's specific setups you take when it's ranging. There's specific setups you take when it's it's pulling back or whatever. And then that's what he said that his playbook that he's designing is gonna be like, where you basically plug in what your biases are, and it'll give you a layout of what possible trades work best during those market conditions, according to your past data. And
earlier, like when I was not this experience, or so I would say, is like during like if the market would range, like those are the days where I typically go my account.
so right, so yeah, you just buying and selling back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And your account is just drop it. It's crazy.
So oh man, if this 30-minute wasn't closing in fucking 20 seconds, I would have a rebreak of the high here. But yeah, bro, that's what happens when if you're like, oh, the market's about to drive, you take an entry and then it starts ranging, and you're not, and you're like, ah, fuck, it's ranging, and then you're still thinking that it's breaking out, but it's really just ranging, and then you're taking entries based off the breakout when in reality you're ranging. So you're trying to take, rebreaks of the highs or closures above, and in reality the market's just been ranging. So why are you taking breakouts when the market isn't breaking out? So then you get stuck in that fucking cycle. Damn. 30-minute closure strikes again. That would have been a nice push. That hit 10 pips. So this 30-minute just closed with barely a top wick, and we're still respecting these areas here. So let's get a closure above. Yeah, this is ugly price. I mean, on the 5-minute it looks clean. On the 15, not so much, but on the 1 minute and the 5 minute, it doesn't look so bad. but on this higher time frame, it just looks choppy. What's NQ doing? Nothing important. Man, we would have been in there. We would have been in there for fucking 17 pips, bro, if it wasn't for that 30 closure. I think that's the second time that I don't take a trade based off that 30 closure, and the trade still plays out because it's still valid the way that it's pushing. So I might be taking it regardless of the higher time frames closing, because those 10 to 20 pip pushes are still happening. Like, let's say the 30-minute did close with no top wick, indicates no more range for continuation. The next candle should pop up, create a top wick first, and then reject if it's going to reject. You usually don't see 2 candles, no top wicks rejecting, right? So because I'm in the buy, because I'm already in profit, that push should keep me in profit, causing me to go break even or close partials to ride that top wick wherever it's going to be before it rejects down, if it is going to reject down based off this no top wick closure. So it makes my trade idea still valid. Went to boil some water and Goldie did this. I was just watching a reel of a guy who lives in Malaysia, and he was renting out a hotel for like 200 USD a night that had like a pool on the inside. And I'm like, damn, I want to go to Malaysia. That's how you can look like you're rich when you're really not. I was watching every once in a while one of those Forex gurus pops up on my timeline, and how much range do I have here? 53 pips to the top of that wick. Damn. I would have. I'm missing trades here. Fuck. Yeah, I'm missing trades here. I wanted to verify that this was the range that we had before setting my buy stop here, but I should have verified that prior, and I should have already had that written down, or at least known that. That shouldn't have been something that I looked at last minute like that. Because of that, I missed out on 32 pips. Yeah, I saw that. I just literally just brain farted. What's our daily range here? 100 pips. If we can get a steeper pullback before the push-up. What's good, Cloudy? How are you, brother? Or sister? I don't know. More women are joining the industry, and I think that's dope. If more women became traders, that'd be awesome. Damn, I just drank all my coffee and I want more. Fuck. I think the Forex industry is male dominated because of the fact that in the beginning, the trading has always been in the pit, basically as if it was the Roman Empire and men had to get in there and fight to the death. That was the pit. And if you're a woman and you're going into the NYSE trading pit where there's a shit ton of angry men running around, pushing each other around, women aren't gonna like that environment. That's not, men don't even like that environment. I think that's what deterred most women from joining it. And now that you can do it online, not talk to anybody, and not have a boss, nobody telling you what to do. You don't have to run around the trading floor and fight people. Yeah, exactly. Sweaty, shouting, fucking. What if there's a guy in there who's not a good person? And now he's angry and losing a lot of money. And what if he just pushes you out of the way so that he can get to the short seller first? So he could get to the better price before you. He goes and he punches you in the jaw, and nobody sees anything because it's 1989 and there's no cameras anywhere. And then you just got hit in the jaw. Like, that's what I picture the trading floor was like. Because if I'm over here losing money for the day, feeling FOMO, getting emotional, and I have the guy says, "Hey, I'll sell you Tesla for $2," and Tesla's worth $3, and that can get me back to break even. I will push you out of the way to get there. I will literally run over you. Like, think about you, how aggressive you get on your account and how angry you get and how you blow your account. Imagine that in person and everybody in person doing all that together. That's just not a good environment for women, even for men, for nobody. Nobody should be in there. That's why you're seeing a lot more women traders now, a lot more female traders because the internet has made it possible. And it's a much better industry, bro. What would you rather do? If you could learn how to trade, or the majority of like the women in my family are like nurses and stuff like that, and they have a shit ton of like bosses over them, and it's annoying. All this corporate shit, the corporate lifestyle, nah, that ain't for me, bro. I don't fuck that. That's not for nobody. If you like that corporate stuff, you're a different breed. Like, oh, you're not afraid of HR? HR. Fire me, bro. I'll go work somewhere else. Yeah, I just can't fathom how the trading floor would work, to be honest. Is that the money printer? I have a buy stop here. That's break even. This is the money printer off the 1 and the 5 minutes. So these ticks are not very high before we go break even. I mean, I can wait for the wick fill. I'm being a little bit more risk averse here. This should give me the full pop all the way up. Yeah, got me out there. Yeah, it filled the wick basically. That was only 5 pips. It should have been 12. Where was my entry? Did I have like a bad entry? I shouldn't have gotten stopped out there. My entry was supposed to be here on the flip. Well, it played out. So, that's 2 break evens. Get a pullback and then a rebreak of the high.
These candles are wild.
Yeah, I think I set my buy stop because when I'm taking the money printer, you got to be kind of pretty accurate there. Like, I wouldn't have gotten stopped out there if I was more accurate on the money printer. All right, I'm gonna attempt another buy here. See if we can flip bullish. It should be just a straight 5-minute pop all the way to the top of the range. It should just be a straight fly straight to the top to mimic this exact move that we had here, right? We have some equal highs here, so we should take this out is what I'm thinking. So we have a lot of range here. Market mechanic trades Mondays and Thursdays, and I trade Tuesdays and Wednesdays Asian session. Oh, that wicked me in. It wicked me in by a hair. No, he doesn't trade New York. He leaves that for Wicks. My G. So he's been focusing on taking his trades, bro. He's been missing so he's had a couple of scenarios where he's been distracted by talking in the chat and missing some entries or not being fully aware of the analysis or like just not seeing something because he's been talking in the group chat. So he's been really trying to focus more on the trading and then coming back after to give like an update or maybe like an early morning, you know, talking early in the morning and then update later on. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing was happening to me where I would have an analysis and then I'm listening to Wix or reading the Discord and then somebody says something that throws me off and then I don't take my trade and my trade plays out and I'm like, wow, I just missed out on a trade because somebody said an analysis, somebody said something different. Like I'm looking for buys here for like a 20 pip target and then Wix is like, oh, buys don't look so good here because of this, this, and this. And then price pops up 20 pips and then reverses, giving me my entry and exit. And then for him, he would say, oh, look, this is why I said this isn't a good entry. It only gave you 20 pips on this push. Whereas for me, those 20 pips would have been enough on the scalp for me to enter and exit. So that's like a scenario where I had to stop listening to streams as often as I did and focused more on taking my trades. Once my trade was done, I'll come back. I'm waiting for the 9:30 closure. I have like, and I took a trade already, then I'll wait. I'll go back on stream. I'll start talking some shit. I'll go into the comments. I'll see what Wix is doing, what trades he's taken. I'll scroll back and I'll rewatch the trades that he's taken and things like that. But analysis wise, I try not to listen anymore or read as much so that I can stick to my own analysis and my own way of doing things. Because if push comes to shove and everybody closes everything and I have to continue with what I have left, I need to know that I would be fine and I don't need anybody else, nobody else helping me out with an analysis or anything. Yeah, that money printer was a good trade. Apex Trader new rules. News trading is only permitted for the Knight, Pro, and Royal accounts on the funded phases. Alright, so we're flipping bearish here. Yeah, this is where I would take a pineapple at. This is tricky. I don't think I would add any more pineapples, to be honest. If this starts to break down here and continue dropping down, this might just be the high of the day, and we might have gotten caught on the high of the day. Yeah, if it's not respecting this area here and we continue to break down, that looks like it's gonna be... Let's see if we can get a pop up here to break even. And this could be the money printer also. Let's see what happens here. Yes, I am in some buys that I don't suggest you get in. I think that this is going to be a losing trade. I'm looking for a closure below this area, and then I will close my trade manually. So I don't know if I'm probably around here. I would add another pineapple with my stop loss below this level, because now that we've already rejected the daily high, we've rejected this hourly level. This 30-minute has flipped after creating the money printer basically here. I don't think that this is coming back up. I think this is coming straight down to stop loss. If anything, I don't think this is gonna come back up. If it does reverse here and come all the way back up, that's just pure luck. Yeah, this is the second. I took an entry on the break of the high here, and then I took an entry here. Hank, once I get out of this trade, I'll look at the rules for you. Have you guys taken any trades tonight? The only way I would take another pineapple is if we get a 5-minute bullish closure here. The 5-minute then comes down to retest the low and then flips bullish. Then I will take another pineapple entry. That would be a buy, another buy trade, and then I would move all of my stop losses down to here. We're tapping the SMA here. It could be the scoop, so this could very well be where we start to plummet down again. This is some of your guys' sell setup. You're a savage. I didn't even realize they had a discount over the weekend. I would have got another account. Not looking good, gang. Not looking bueno. Let's hope that when this hourly closes that we get a steep hourly top wick before coming down. Most likely gonna retest these areas before coming down, which is no bueno. I might be looking into some other firms as well. A lot of people are saying that some of these other firms are so much better, like Tradeify and Take Profit Trader. Um, so I'm gonna look into them. I'm gonna talk to Dan to see what he does.
Forex on spot gold. You just closed bullish doji barely created a bottom first. That's almost in the have a fine. Hopefully it pushes up next day.
Yeah, hopefully we start getting some push up here. If we could start re-breaking these highs, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
He's in.
I'm gonna take a pineapple right now, and then if we do start breaking these lows again, then I'll start to manually close. I'm gonna give it one last shot.
I think we're gonna fill half of the week at least. For a week.
If this does come back down and start re-breaking the lows, I'll probably just manually close, even if we wake up. I'm not a fan of being in a bunch of drawdown like this. Even if it does eventually go my way, yeah, see, it's just this level right here is where I'm thinking we're gonna tap, and even there, that's only like 4 pips. So am I gonna fight for 4 pips? It's either this level we reject off of or this level here. Let's see what happens. Oh, that was right at break even. Wow.
These candles are moving. Wow.
Yes, they are. Let me set my stop loss here.
Up and down, up and down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're moving.
That was yeah, like I said, it was either gonna reject here or reject here. So yeah, that should have been a break even. I should have got out break even there. Waiting for that extra 4 pips was not smart. That should have been out at break even. So unless we pop up and we start driving now, I'm just gonna fully hold and.
Because all I look at it, well, I don't know you guys 4-hour, but my 4-hour close towards you expected resistance. So it could be filling the wick and come right back up. So right around that area, you really want to be not curious here.
What are your spreads looking like right now?
Around 2.5, 2.
Yeah, this is probably gonna hit stops here. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a setup I would take again. That's why I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I would continuously take this setup. The only difference is that resistance to the left was a little bit tricky. So I could have waited till we fully broke out of that resistance before taking a setup. Um Yeah, there's a couple of things. Patience could have played a better factor tonight. A little bit more patience. I think I was too risk averse in the beginning, and then I got impatient towards the end. Because I would. Nah, everything looks clean. I can't say that. Yeah, it's like I missed a couple of trades on the way up here, and then I got stopped out break even twice here, and then on my other account I took a swing trade, and that swing trade got stopped out. So I came in with a little bit of FOMO to begin with. This is gonna stop us out here. Once this hourly rebreaks the low, that would be our first L on stream in a couple of months. Actually, like a month and a half, maybe. This 5-minute is still looking clean. It just has to respect that low for that pop to be valid. It just has to. Well, let's see if we get saved by the bell here. The same movement we've had down, gold, you just need to do that the other way. And that's it. The other way. Baby girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you, let me buy you a drink. Give me 10 pips. You know me. I'ma close as soon as I see that shit. Yeah, I'm holding this trade. This just looks too clean now on the 5-minute. I'll take the stops. Fuck it. The market gave me my chance to go break even multiple times, but this 5-minute looks too clean. Doesn't want to
What do you mean it
flip.
looks too clean? You mean to pop up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been flip-flopping for the last minute or so. And previous 4-hour run.
Whatever high it breaks, it's gonna just fucking fly. That's how I feel. That's why my stop loss is there. And if I'm waiting for that pop past this 5-minute high, and we should see a good pop, bro. Either way, whatever way it pops, that gave us plenty of chances to go break even. I'm giving it more opportunity here. I think I like how this 5-minute is flipping, or how it was flipping earlier. It was looking good.
It needs to close bullish now. 20 seconds left for it.
Parabolic movement as fuck. I'm happy with my risk management today. I'm happy with the stop loss. Not happy taking a loss. Obviously, nobody's happy taking a loss. Especially, this is gonna wipe out like 2 days of pips for me. But in 2 or 3 more days, we'll be back in profits. So I just write this down as pips. And total pips wise, since I've been tracking, I'm up like 1600. So a 30 pip loss across 3 entries, which is 90 pips, would be, it would wipe out 2 days of pips. Yeah, 2 days. I catch about 45 pips a day. So thinking of it like that and saying, all right, cool. How many days on my calendar do I need to look to see when I'm going to be back in profit? All right, if I have a couple of more profitable days, I'll be back in profit by the end of the week. No problem. Easy. So what my account balance was in the beginning of the week, by the end of the week, I should be back at that same account balance, which would put me overall profit like 30 pips for the week. So 30 pips for a week is perfectly fucking fine. If you do 30 pips for 52 weeks a year, you're profitable. You're in profit. So No worries. It's not about the pips, it's about being profitable at the end of the day. And this trade will really put me to the test to see if I'm really about what I'm saying. If I take this loss, you guys are going to see this account in the next few days, in the next few streams, in the next few weeks, and be like, what'd you do, Eddie? Did you blow it? Did you over risk? Did you over trade? Did you FOMO and fuck it up? That's the hard part about trading live. Yeah, this 5 closed bearish. This is looking less likely. It's giving us some fake outs here, some fake movement. Yeah, that's what I realized on my top step, that even if I build a buffer, they're still only allowing me 2 grand of drawdown. So even if I build a buffer, and I jump up to the higher contracts, for me to get the $200 a day, trading the 0.2s and 0.3s, that's not gonna happen. I would have to swing trade and completely change my strategy and how I trade. So for my top step account, I have to immediately start with the 1 lot and just start building my $200 days, so that every 5 days I can, or every 5 profitable days, I can take out like $150 withdrawal or $200 withdrawal, and do that on Top Step, because the Top Step account isn't like Apex where I can have 8 $50 days of profitability and I can request a withdrawal. So the withdrawing on Apex with their new rules is much simpler and much easier. So once I built the buffer, every 8 days of making $50 or more, I can ask for a withdrawal. So let's say I'm trading 0.4, so I'm catching like 45 pips a day. So that's like $130 a day. So after 8 days, which would be like a grand, I can request a withdrawal and leave my entire 5,000 of buffer in the account and not even have to touch it. And that gives me a massive buffer with no trailing drawdown. This is looking like it's gonna smash through the stop loss. And if we do get stopped out here, I might call it, because I've already taken like 3 trades today. And then if the 4th one is a loss, then there's no sense in taking any more trades. If it was like my first trade of the day and it was a loss, I would keep trading. But my brain is fried. Yeah, it's gone. That is gone. Yeah, that's gonna hit stop loss. So at 15 is gonna hit the stop loss. And that would be, yeah, that would kill the last 2 days of profits for me. So taking a sell here on the rebreak of the lows might not be bad, but I don't want to risk it. This might just wick me out and then continue driving up. It might be one of those situations. Worst case, I can move my stop loss like a couple pips down. But that's the best that I can do to give this another shot. Yeah, it's another 7 pips. So the way that I was looking at it was, I wanted to get to the threshold, right? And then I wanted to withdraw $2,000. My threshold is 5,500. I'm allowed to withdraw 2,000, leaving 3,000 of drawdown in there. And then I would continue trading small lot sizes, in order to build the account back up, which would take me about a month. So it'll take me maybe about 2 months to build up the 5K. sorry, it'll take me about a month to build up to 5K, right? Maybe 2 months, a month and a half to build up to 5K. And then that's the threshold. Let's say I withdraw 2K. Now, if I wait another month and build up the threshold to 5K, I can withdraw 5K at the end of that month. Or every week that I build up an extra $1,000 past the threshold, I can withdraw the 1,000. And even if I blow the account, I've already withdrawn I've already withdrawn a couple $1,000, which the account cost me $118. So to withdraw even $1,000 off of a $100 account, that's a 1 to 10 RR. Are we gonna get a plot twist here? Oops. I played one of my YouTube videos on accident. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna come up here. It looks like it's just gonna hit stop loss. Yeah, the rules make you 100% risk more. Like on the Top Step account, when they tell you have to make $200 days, where you're like, well, you're only giving me 2 contracts. And even if I build up the threshold to work my way up to the 5 contracts, that's still not enough for my trading style to make the profits that I want. Let's witness stop loss get hit, gang. And we're getting stopped out as we speak. Completely stopped. So that put me at minus minus 111 pips, which puts me at minus 30 pips on the account. See what happens here. So that sets me back how many days? That sets me back 3 trading days. That sets me back Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Get these executions off the screen and get some clarity. Let me also update the record. Yeah. I can't have. Today's the 15th. So that's 2 losing days in 22, 23 trading days. I could have possibly held all the way down to here. This could have been a decent push up. But then that would have been 70 pips of drawdown. I'd rather take my chances here. I had a few chances to get out break even, right? So we had the opportunity to get out break even here multiple times. Twice. Once, twice. But I gave it the more risk. Which is fine. I didn't over risk or anything like that. This 15 no bottom wick though. Yeah, Jay, it was probability was starting to diminish very rapidly. So as soon as we rejected these highs here, what does price do, right? Price makes the high, and if this is going to be the daily high, usually tries one more time and then starts driving down. So that's what I noticed as soon as we started going into drawdown, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to take many pineapples on our way here because this is looking like it's going to likely come down very steeply after rejecting this level, because the last time it did that, it came down pretty steep. So I'm all right, where can I take some pineapples at? Where price has given me a decent rejection in the past. So I know that at this level here, price gave me a 30 pip push. The first time it gave me 27 and the second time it gave me 35. So I anticipated this level here was going to give me more volume than it did. So that was the first pineapple. And then after this level failed, and I'm like, all right, cool. This level's failing, which tells me we're going to need to come down to another level, which is all the way down here for the next entry, or all the way down here for the next entry. So I'm like, okay, cool. If we have to come all the way down here, I don't want to take another pineapple because there's no level in between that I can take another pineapple until we get here, and then we're like 10 pips from stops, and then I can add another pineapple because I'm only adding 10 pips of risk onto the trade, right? Because if it is one of those trades where it hits this level and then it reverses all the way up, let's pay attention to what happens here. If price reverses off this level and comes all the way back up, oh, NQ just alerted me. Damn, this is the market open gap. I don't want to be taking sells into the gap. Damn, I fucking lost my train of thought. I hate when that shit happens. Yeah, it's that's why I lowered my stop loss to this level, right? Because I was like, okay, cool. Where is the next logical pineapple gonna be at? So if the next logical pineapple isn't at this level here, the next one would be at this level down here. And if it is a pineapple here at this level where we start rejecting, like it happened right here, where I would have taken a pineapple probably, then my average would have been down here, which price could very well come up to retest these levels before coming down again. So if we, this is where I basically decided was my decision making level. Once price gets to this level, we're either going to respect it and fly up from this level, putting my pineapples in profit, or we're gonna fly through it and come back down to retest the lows for that daily sell that we were initially looking for in the beginning of the session. I think we attempted to sell. Well, this is where I took a loss at, where I attempted to sell here, and then this wild shit took me out. So I was only playing this range here. Yeah, there's more levels where you could be taking pineapples at to continue holding, like but yeah, I mean, once we respected this level here that we drove up, and then we respected it again, and we started forming this bullish structure here and started like creating more support here, that's when the probability went up again on the trade, right? But this is where your risk management comes into play, where you can decide whether to close the trade out at break even or give it another shot. I think I did give it too many shots though. Two times I tried to re-break, and then one time, twice. That's four times I gave it to put me in profit, and it failed. So where did you take? So you took a pineapple. These levels are so much steeper on. This is the daily open now. My daily open is all the way down here. Hmm. The more I look at it, the more I'm thinking that we just got faked out. Yeah, of course. These are days. This is what makes or breaks you as a trader, right? So my break-even point was all the way up here. This is what makes or breaks you as a trader. Taking a loss and moving on to the next position, to the next trade, and seeing, is there something you could have done better? If there's not something you could have done better, you chalk it up and you move on to the next one. And that's it. And like, if you had a losing week and then you took another loss and you're like, fuck, another loss? What the fuck is going on? Why do I keep losing? Don't start questioning your strategy and questioning shit, bro, because then that's when you start to panic and you start to like overthink things. Like what we were talking about yesterday, taking pineapples in better positions, and that's something that I practiced today. So I identified my stop loss, and then I identified where I could have had a pineapple, and then I took a second pineapple. So maybe the only other thing that I could have done, because of the way that I'm trying to manage pineapples, is saved one of the pineapples for right before my stop loss. So I would have said, okay, cool. So if I'm only limited to two pineapples in this case, then I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for a second pineapple, and the second pineapple wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have taken a pineapple here. I would have only taken a pineapple here. So then my entry up here with the pineapple here, that's 36. That would have dropped me down to 18 pips. So 18 pips would have been right here, which would have been right there. So price would have been in profit once, twice. So maybe if I actually saw some profits in this case, um, I would have what's it called, closed the trade break even, but my stop loss would have been down here, right? So because my average moved down to this level here, now that we came this close to stops, maybe that would have been my third pineapple. I'm limited to 3 pineapples. My first pineapple was down here. My second pineapple would have been right here. So this is 36 pips. So it would have brought it down about a third. So we could say it would come down 16 pips, which would be 20. Look, another opportunity to go break even. So if maybe if I would have managed the pineapples a little bit more strictly, in accordance with my stop loss, I would have had a few more opportunities to come out break even in profit. So had I disregarded this pineapple and only taken this one, my entry would have been right here, which would have put me in profit twice. And then the third entry would have been here before the stop loss, which would have put me in profit on 3 positions, 4 pips. So that would have been 12 pips total profit actually if I would have closed at the peak of that push there. So it's little minor things like that. And that's the whole point of not over risking, because I only lost a few days worth of work. And yeah, it's annoying, but by tomorrow's New York session, my account will be break even. Because look, this is my PA account. So this is my live account. So I lost $450. So my actual total loss for the day that I allow myself is 1,000. So I only lost half of what I'm actually allowed to lose. So I'm at $100 below the account balance. I need to be at 5,500 for a payout. 5,500 for a payout. I'm using 4 contracts. So basically every 10 pips is $40. So the way I calculate it is 5,500 divided by 40 is 137. You multiply that by 10 and that's 1,375 pips that I need. Oops. For payout. That's how many pips that I need for payout. And I'm going to calculate my last month of trading. Can you believe you got to download a fucking... You got to download a freaking calculator on a MacBook? I don't have the MacBook keyboard. I have an aftermarket keyboard. 860 pips in the last month. And then I lost 110 now. So 750 pips in the last month. So I need 1,000. So if you just do the math in about a month, 750 pips. That would take me about 1.8 months to reach my threshold. And then if I trade it for another 1.8 months, I can withdraw 5,500. So see here, see Jay here, while we were talking about the pineapples, managing the pineapples slightly better would have given us better averages and would have given us more opportunities to get out break even here. If I wouldn't if I wouldn't have taken this pineapple here and waited a little bit further, it was 30 pips into, or like 20 pips into drawdown, or 30 pips, so it was a decent pineapple, but it wasn't like how you would say A plus. The better one would have been either down here before it rejected right before the stop loss, if this never formed. So
yeah, if I hadn't closed down there as well, I would have taken third pineapple, and that would have put me in either a B or profit, because it keeps rejecting it. 26, 98, 20 spot, and it just bounced off there as well. It might be a resistance level. Yeah, instead.
Yeah, we're getting like a head and shoulders type deal forming now. We have our shoulder, head, and if we respect this and break down, then we have our head and shoulders to come down and take a shit. But yeah, I mean, this is where I get impressed by price action and how, wow, there was opportunities to get out here. I understood that price was coming down, and I just gave it my idea a little bit too much belief.
Yeah, I mean, the trade wasn't bad. It's just where the pineapples were taken for.
Yeah,
the best strategically.
Yeah, this first pineapple,
where did you grab yours?
Right here. So I had my entry here. So then after we formed that 5-minute push here, I had here was 24 on futures. It's a little bit less. How much is it on gold?
I think it looked like 40 pips, so would have been around.
Holy shit! This is like a 70 pip range. I took a 30 pip stop loss.
Yeah, much more.
Yeah, wow, geez, I took a 30 pip stop loss across three entries, so like 32 pips, 33 pips after commissions or something each.
Yeah, I had sales at some point and I closed them almost be a little bit at a loss, and then I took a buy there. Once it rebroke the high, that was the position I was in, and then when you got in, I was already in there as well.
Yeah,
so I had more than one pineapple.
Once the first pineapple is starting to fail, the idea is a lot less likely to play out, and it's time to start managing risk pretty aggressively, because I have never, I mean, at least for me, it's very rare that like my fourth or fifth or sixth pineapple take me into profit. You know what I mean? I have to, those usually end up being the ones where I just keep taking pineapple, and I blow my account. You know what I mean? Or I take a super massive loss. Those are the ones where I end up just going haywire. So price action so far, if we continue down and break the lows, that would be good. That I closed out properly. I didn't take any more pineapples. And I was able to manage risk accordingly. My pineapples could have been for sure 100% better. If I would have had, I didn't realize that was so steep for you guys. My stop loss was total 72 pips. So here that would have been 89,
You could
93
have hit these,
pips.
I think, 3 times by now.
Yeah.
And it's looking like it's still pushing up. I mean, the 5 period at bottom wick, the previous 5 closed, no top wick. I mean, it looks like the IC is ranging for a little bit. Not much volume right now.
Yeah, it might be
But it
respecting.
could push back up. Yeah. If we had taken the pineapple at the bottom there, instead of the close, we'd definitely be at the or profit.
Yeah, that would have never hit my original stops.
Mine hit it barely, like barely, just whipped me out.
So
Once it hit that, once it broke the lows, I just put it just beneath it, about what was it, 5 pips. My bad, I should have put it a little bit lower.
this should have been the better trade, the better pineapples. But then
Yeah.
this one was the one that screwed up the game. This one right here was the one that screwed up the game. These would have been much better entries, and so from here to here we have 57 pips. So those two entries would have been, what's half of that? 27.5 pips. So that would have put our price point here. I'm gonna try to calculate this.
Yeah, Wix just sent a message in the signal chat on the areas. Basically, at the top, he shows that there was a massively, historically strong rejection area there for a while. So I'm not sure what time frame he's showing about top. Then he writes that if the candle taps that area and breaks its own low, you're not necessarily in the wrong direction, but the probability of the candle, the probability of the candle going up goes down, and must think about it. That's what's totally occurred. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he's showing the one on the left there. Yeah. Everything is historically strong rejection.
Very. But I think the pineapples would have made all the difference in this one. The first pineapple, instead of taking the first one, taking the second one would have been much better.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he says you're not necessarily in the wrong direction, but obviously if you're able to get the pineapples the right level, then it's good. Looks like my pineapple was taken 10 pips too late. That's what prevented me from getting that.
Yeah, right. I took my pineapple based off of I mean, it was a strong 1 minute level, so like where was it? I took a trade yesterday where same thing happened, where I think it was right here where I took a sell off the rebreak of this low. I took a sell off the rebreak of this low. Price pulled back. Once we tapped into this level here, I took a pineapple, and then when we rejected back down to like here, I closed in profit. So, but this was like, yeah, this was another one where it was like 20 pips behind, right? But this level also coincided with like these levels here, and I was like, all right, cool. If anything, this is where my first pineapple would be, and then I would take a second one here, and the stop loss wasn't even too bad. The stop loss I had it I don't even know where my stop loss was. I had it above here somewhere. So I had plenty of levels where I could have taken proper pineapples at. But like sometimes the 1 minute levels do respect very strongly like this. So sometimes that first pineapple does make a lot of sense, especially something like this, but it's also, you have to take into account what Wick said. It was a very high level of rejection, and my daily range is now like 115 pips. And it's all fresh levels, so the chances of these levels being respected so far are not very likely. So I have to have more historic levels on the chart, more prior price data. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna note that myself because I was in a sell at 26.98.26 on spot, and then got into drawdown for the pineapple 2700, and I didn't hold it and look at how far down. I had the right idea. Just once I saw it shoot up after creating a bottom with first, kind of panicked a little bit.
Yeah, that same thing happens to me where I'll start to panic and I'm like, all right, this is looking like it's gonna do this. This is looking like it's gonna do that. It's looking like it's gonna do this. It's not looking good. It's looking this. It's looking that. And I'm like, bro, only one candle has closed. Please chill. You're basing that off of one candle's parabolic movement back and forth. Just chill. Let the candle close and make a decision after it closes. It could pop through and smash.
For 30 minutes, though, so it was more than just one candle.
Yeah, but then at that point, like what happened now, I immediately started managing risk and I got out of the trade, and it wasn't a super bad loss. I could have had one less pineapple or got out break even on there a couple of times. So I mean, there was opportunity to get out there for me, at least where my levels were. There was opportunity for me to get out a couple times. So that's another.
Yeah, I wish I had that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you think back and you're like, huh, was I greedy or was I just trusting my analysis and trusting the plan? Look
I
at
mean,
up.
I don't think it was a bad trade when it came down to knowing that you could get out with the pineapple. Obviously, I didn't realize how much rejection error it was when I took the position.
Look at options drawing his trend lines. Yeah, see, this was the better pineapple once we respected that trend line. Taking that pineapple right here off that first push up.
I mean, that's where I took mine.
That's 50 pips, so that would have put us up 25. Yeah, so that would have put us break even still. So regardless of the pineapples that I took, they would have been all for break even opportunities. So this, yeah, options. That's something that that you guys showed me that I've been not looking at recently. So I'm trading with the trend, but I'm disregarding sometimes when these trends start to break. So if I took this buy stop and this trend broke and started coming back down and reversing on the trend here, then immediately I should understand my trade, my idea, at least for my scalp idea, is wrong. That I need to start managing risk properly now. So I need to be more aggressive on managing risk. So the pineapple should have been much deeper. So yeah, the more I look back at it, the more it's the pineapple situation. Just identifying the better pineapple areas, the higher probability pineapple areas, and then if I have a range of like 70 pips for my before my stop loss, I'm not gonna have 5 pineapples in that area. That's just insane. I'm gonna do 3, maximum of 3 pineapples in that area, unless you have like 150 pips of range you give yourself. Some like a Wix gives himself much more range. Don gives himself like 150 pips. So for him, he can have pineapples across all these areas where the trade will still come out as a W and the probability of the will be higher. So, and for my case, I would just have to take. For my case, I would just have to take. Say that again. Say it again. Oh yeah, look. Damn, options. When did you delete these trend lines? They popped up and then they deleted.
Yeah, they're putting back.
Everybody go follow options. Look him up for options dot comma. I don't know his Instagram name. Yeah, when you're trading with the trend, you really want to be aware of all different types of confirmations. Yeah, the bougie scoop, the trend line break. You guys took a sell there. That's beautiful. The 5-minute bougie scoop, the retest right here. Once that wick down, you guys would have probably taken your entry. And when you look, that's also the head and shoulders. Fuck this little level here. This level is whack. This is a failure level. But what's that? 5 losses on stream. How many streams have I had so far? Oh, let's see.
I'm gonna wait for this hour to close. I'm gonna call it if nothing happens. Just
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the Nasdaq didn't do anything. It was giving me a setup here, but we retested the gap. This is a good area for it to reverse off of. Bougie, I need some money, bro. Send some funds over. Body butter. Some of that bougie scoop butter. On my evaluation, the same exact setup, I lost 300 pips on. Because I took like a million pineapples. And on this trade, I cut my loss in pip wise by a third. So the trade is the same loss, but I cut my pip size by a third. So that's a win in my book. The last pineapple that I took this deep, I lost like 300 pips on it. and it set me back like a week. And I was like, all right, that can't happen again. So if it is going to be a trade and I'm managing less pineapples, it is going to be a loss. That's much, much better. My trade idea is this, and it needs to be this candle. Once this starts to form, then my idea is a failure and I need to manage risk and get out. So that is an improvement for my end on pineapples, but more improvement is needed. Never satisfied, always improving. So I'm gonna call it as soon as this ends here. I'm gonna play a little outro song, and I got a journal today, 100%. Write some notes. We'll be back in profit by next week. By next stream, my account will be in profit. Should have brought some booty coin at 500 market cap. All right, bro, listen. The next project you see that you're like, all right, this one's looking new, this one's looking like it is, you let me know. I'm gonna dump some money in there, some funny money, nothing serious. And if that shit 5x's and I have $1,000 in there, we'll go get some steak dinner. I'll fly out to Vegas and we'll have some steaks. We'll go to a Brazilian steakhouse.
Here we go, the hour's closing. Let's see if this is going to be a strong level or not.
What are we gonna do here? Are we gonna reject off my first stop loss? Alright, let me stop watching these candles print because the last time, like yesterday, I stayed here till like 11 and I didn't go to bed till like 1 in the fucking morning. And then I woke up at 6 for New York today, so I need some sleep. But yeah, go play with my emotions today a little bit. This movement here was fucking with me. I had some sells here. Or sorry, I had some sells like here. Once this wick happened that we rejected down, I think I took a sell here. And then this wick just went bow and took me the fuck out. And then this next one came all the way back down. And then all the way back up. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, this was on the other, the 50K account. But I took this with a 0.2. So I lost $100 on this one. And then 450 on this one. So that's a minus $550 night. Minus 550 away from payout. We'll be alright though. Look at how this is dying. My analysis was 100% incorrect. I managed risk. I got out at a much lesser loss than I was expecting. I lost a total of 110 pips, which was not too shabby. I think my best day last week was 130 pips. So one more best day, and I'm back in action, baby. Yeah, bro. Don't beat yourself up, bro. It's in the risk management, bro. The trade isn't bad. It's just the risk management portion of it, and you being on XAU USD with a much larger stop. That was crazy range here. The stops were much larger here. From this entry to where the stop loss would have been, you had an extra like 15 pips, or 20 pips extra. See, look, now that we're scooping this way, this could very well just reverse. So, like I said, it's all the trade wasn't bad. It was just the pineapple was what was bad. The first pineapple is what was bad. So it should have been this second pineapple, not the first one. Instead of having 3 pineapples early, it should have been 2 pineapples here, and then this should have been the trade. We should have kept our stop loss here, which would have been a 70 pip loss plus like 10, so we would have saved 20 pips on the no, it was for me, it would have saved me 25 pips having the pineapples here. So if we do reverse here, 72, so that's 35. Yeah, my right here would be the break-even point. So if we come up all the way to here, that would prove the better pineapple was down there. So it's just about managing risk properly. Managing risk properly. That's a good that's a good session. Yeah, no, it's having like, yeah, dude, when you have a losing day, and it's a big losing day, and then you lose again, and then you're like, all right, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Is it me? Why did I lose? Let's see. Did I take Wix's signal and just blindly took it and didn't even look to see if I agreed with the analysis, and now I'm in drawdown, and now I have to take 40 pineapples to get out of the trade? Uh so like I start to look back and I'm like, all right, did I get in this trade because I wanted to make my money back? And I start thinking about my greed and how it's affecting me, and I'm like, shit, I could have went break even twice on this trade. I could have managed it better on this trade, but I wanted to make profit. So did that cloud my judgment on the pineapples? And that's the stuff that I write down in my journal, and I question that, and I write it down, and then I ask myself that. So then when I come to the charts tomorrow, I'm like, look, I was thinking about my greed affecting my trading and this and that. So let me try to not let it affect me as much this time, or let me try to focus on not letting it affect me at all, so that I can actually progress and move forward. Because if you're like, ah, fuck, greed got me, I'll try again tomorrow, and you're like, ah, fuck, greed got me, I'll try again tomorrow, ah, fuck, greed got me, I'll try again tomorrow. Right. So just take the BE and wait for another opportunity. So that's something with the ego. Like, I could have got out break even twice here, but I let it rock until it hit my stop loss. So I was risking profits to make a little bit more profit. I was in a steep pineapple, so a 10 pip trade would have been actually 30 pips. So a 30 pip trade in the session would have been nice. So it was probably a subconscious thing where I didn't close break even here. But I said it a couple times. So that's why I always say it, that you don't copy what what your mentor does, see if it aligns with what your analysis is. Because if you were taking, because I understand how you feel. If you're like, oh, I want to take a buy here because I took a buy, and then you take a loss, you're like, oh fuck, I just took a loss. That's this guy's fault. He called a bad trade. He managed the pineapple badly. But that's why I said multiple times here, we have an out right here. We have an out right here. We almost had another out right here. So just because I'm holding and I'm willing to lose 50 pips in order to make 10 doesn't mean you should do the same. If you're like, this trade is shitty and I don't like it, you're better off closing at break even or minus 10 pips and then moving on to the next trade and just chalking it up as part of the game, than taking a loss on a trade you don't agree with, that you don't like, because that just makes things worse, bro. Especially when like I copy a trade that Wix took and I'm like, bro, I was just about to take buys and he's calling sells. Let me take sells with him instead. He knows what he's doing. And I take sells and then he goes into drawdown and goes into pineapples and he comes out in profit, no problem. But my buys would have worked out, bro. My buys would have worked out perfectly fine. So it's just one of those things where it's not his fault that he called the sell. It's my fault that I copied his trade, disregarded my own analysis, and now my trade played out, but now I'm in drawdown in his trade. If I don't like it, I don't have to take it. If I disagree with the trade, I don't have to take it. You could disagree 100% and say, no, that's not a good trade. I see sells there. You're in buys? Nah, bro, I see sells there, like options. Options did not see any buys there. He saw sells. He saw sells. He saw the scoop, right? And those are things that I noticed, and that's why I started managing risk aggressively. Yeah, no problem, bro. Taking a loss sucks, but it was a 100 pip loss. We have multiple sessions for the rest of the week, and we have some I think, do we have news this week? Inauguration days one of these days, Monday. Tomorrow we have core retail sales, unemployment claims, beautiful. Friday we have building permits, and some minor yellow folders. So another yellow folder. So we got some volume for the rest of the week. So 150 pips to end off the week. So I'll be up 50 for the week. Who knows? But have a good night, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful night. Sorry for the L. Shit happens. We'll get better. We'll move on to the next one. Next time options, call the fucking signal, bro. Damn. Fucking watching me in drawdown over here, bro. Shit. Come on, bro. What do I pay you for? I don't pay you nothing, but damn. Just kidding, brother. Have a good night, everybody. Damn. What's going on? My shit's freezing up. 67% TP, 33% to stop loss. Yeah. TP was break even 2 times. Have a good night, brother. I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. This is always a learning experience. We always adapt and move forward no matter what. Regardless of what happens, all I know is that the way that I manage this trade personally compared to the last deep pineapple that I was in is 3 times is better, 3 times smaller of a loss. So that means the next one, we could see some sort of improvement like that. Maybe 2 times smaller of a loss, maybe 30% smaller of a loss. Maybe the next time
we go into a deep pineapple like this, I'll be losing 30 pips or 40 pips instead of 100 pips. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I could have got out somewhere right here, understood that the sells were happening, and then maybe caught sells the other way. So we're improving, we're getting better. Overall, pips wise, I'm still up. But it just sucks. This is a fresh account seeing under 150. But we'll be alright. Have a good night, everybody.